Imagine a time long ago, in 1933, in the city of Harbin in northern China. A worker helping to build a bridge across the Songhua River made an extraordinary find. Buried in the river mud was a nearly perfect ancient skull, a relic from a lost world. Fearing it might be taken away, the man made a brave decision. He secretly hid the skull in an abandoned well, where it remained a hidden treasure, a silent witness to history, for over 80 years. This remarkable fossil, which would one day be nicknamed Dragon Man, held a profound secret about our own human story, waiting patiently in the dark for the right time to be revealed to the world. For decades, the skull's existence was known only to the man's family. It was a secret passed down through generations, a heavy but precious burden. It was not until 2018, just before the man passed away, that he finally shared its location with his grandchildren. They understood its immense importance and knew it belonged not to their family, but to all of humanity. They retrieved the fossil from its hiding place and generously donated it to the Hebei GEO University. There, scientists could finally begin the incredible task of studying it, hoping to solve the puzzle of who this ancient individual was and where they fit into our sprawling family tree. The skull was unlike anything they had ever seen before. It was enormous, with a strong, square jaw, a wide, flat face, and a very thick brow ridge that hung over its eye sockets like a stony visor. Its features were a mosaic of the ancient and the modern, a mixture that baffled the experts who first examined it. It was so unique that in 2021, some scientists suggested it might belong to an entirely new human species, which they named Homo longi, or Dragon Man. But the true identity of this ancient person was even more astonishing, a revelation that would require the most advanced scientific tools of our modern age to uncover. The journey of the Dragon Man's skull from the muddy riverbank to a high-tech laboratory is a story of chance, dedication, and mystery. For so long it was a ghost in our human story, a rumor whispered through a single family. Now, out in the open, it presented scientists with a thrilling challenge. Was it truly a new branch of the human family? Or did it belong to a group we already knew of, but had never properly seen? The answers were locked deep inside the bone and teeth, waiting for a key forged by cutting-edge science to finally turn the lock and reveal the face of a long-lost relative. To solve the mystery of the Dragon Man, scientists turn to incredible new methods that can read the faintest whispers of the past. For a long time, researchers had tried to get ancient DNA, the genetic blueprint of life, from the skull's bone, but they were unsuccessful. The bone was simply too old, and the DNA had broken down over thousands of years. But a brilliant team of scientists, led by Chao Mei-fu, decided to look somewhere else: the teeth. They carefully scraped a tiny amount of hardened dental plaque, also known as tartar, from one of the Dragon Man's large molars. It was a long shot, a truly experimental idea. This dental plaque, a substance we all try to remove from our teeth, turned out to be a tiny time capsule. Its dense crystalline structure had protected microscopic fragments of DNA for over 146,000 years, shielding them from decay far better than the bone itself. From a sample of plaque weighing less than a speck of dust, the team managed to extract ancient genetic material. This was a groundbreaking moment. They were able to piece together the mitochondrial DNA, a special type of genetic information passed down from mothers to their children, which acts like a family signature across countless generations. This signature would be the key to identifying the skull. When the scientists compared this genetic signature to that of other ancient humans, they found a match. It was not a Neanderthal, nor was it an early Homo sapiens. Instead, the DNA perfectly matched the genetic code of the Denisovans, a mysterious group of ancient humans known previously from only a few tiny fossils found in a Siberian cave. It was an electrifying discovery. The magnificent Dragon Man's skull, hidden for so long, was not a new species after all. It was the first complete skull of a Denisovan ever found, giving us a face for a group of people who had, until now, been little more than genetic ghosts in our history. But the team did not stop there. They also used another powerful technique, looking for ancient proteins preserved in the skull's dense ear bone. Proteins are the building blocks of our bodies, and like DNA, they can survive for immense periods. In a world-first achievement, they recovered 95 ancient proteins from the fossil. Among them, 4 were unmistakably Denisovan, confirming what the DNA had already told them. The combination of these two powerful scientific methods provided undeniable proof. The riddle was solved. Dragon Man was a Denisovan, and our understanding of this enigmatic group of ancient humans was about to change forever. With the identity of the Dragon Man confirmed, we can finally begin to picture what the Denisovans actually looked like. Before this, all we had were a few fragments, a finger bone, some large teeth, and a piece of a jaw, which gave us only small clues. But the Harbin skull gives us a full portrait. It reveals a person with a robust and powerful build. The most striking feature is the skull's sheer size and strength. It has a very low, broad face that looks almost square, and above the eyes there is a massive, thick brow ridge. This is quite different from the smoother, more rounded foreheads of modern humans. The skull also tells us about their brain. The space inside the cranium, which once held the brain, is enormous, about 1,400 cubic centimeters. This is as large as, or even slightly larger than, the average brain size of people living today. This tells us that Denisovans were not primitive or simple beings. They were intelligent and capable, with the cognitive capacity to thrive in the challenging environments of ancient Asia. Their large molars, much bigger than our own, suggest they had a diet that required powerful chewing, perhaps eating tough plants, roots, or uncooked meat that was a staple of their hunter-gatherer lifestyle. Putting all these features together, we can imagine a person who was incredibly well adapted to a harsh and demanding world. They were strong, tough, and resourceful. The skull's broad nose and sturdy build might have been adaptations for surviving in cold climates, similar to their cousins, the Neanderthals, who lived in Ice Age Europe. For the first time, we are not just looking at genetic data on a computer screen. We are looking into the face of an individual who lived, breathed, and was part of a thriving population that spread across the vast continent of Asia for hundreds of thousands of years. This discovery is like finding a photograph of a long-lost ancestor you had only ever heard stories about. The Denisovans are no longer just a name connected to a few small bones from a cave in Siberia. They are now a real presence in our human story, with a face we can recognize. The Dragon Man's skull has brought them out of the shadows and given them a physical identity. It allows us to see them as they were, a distinct and successful branch of the human family with their own unique place in the story of our planet's past. The identification of the Dragon Man as a Denisovan is profoundly important because it redraws our human family tree, making it look much more like a tangled bush than a simple straight line. For a long time, we thought the story of human evolution was a neat progression, with one species replacing another. But this discovery shows that the ancient world was a much more diverse and interesting place. Several different types of humans, including Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, and now the Denisovans, all lived on Earth at the same time. They were not isolated from one another. They met, interacted, and even had children together. This connection to us is not just ancient history. It lives on inside many people today. Through the study of genetics, we have learned that as our direct ancestors, Homo sapiens, spread out from Africa, they encountered Denisovans in Asia. We know this because many modern human populations, especially people with ancestry from Asia and Oceania, carry small amounts of Denisovan DNA in their genes. This genetic inheritance is not just a curious fact, it provided real advantages. For example, some genes from Denisovans have helped people in the Himalayas adapt to living at high altitudes where oxygen is scarce. This discovery also helps scientists make sense of other mysterious fossils found across Asia. Skulls from places like Dali and Hualongdong in China have long puzzled researchers because they did not seem to fit neatly into any known group. Now, with a complete Denisovan skull to compare them to, scientists can re-examine these fossils and may find that the Denisovans were much more widespread and varied than we ever imagined. They were not confined to a single cave in Siberia, but were a major group of humans who populated a vast territory from the frozen north to the tropical south of Asia. The story of the Dragon Man is far from over. Scientists hope to learn even more about the Denisovans. They want to find more fossils to understand how their bodies were built and how they moved. They also hope to find more ancient DNA and proteins to learn about their behavior, their health, and how they interacted with their environment. Each new discovery adds another piece to the grand puzzle of our shared origins. The Dragon Man's skull has given a face and a story to one of our closest ancient relatives, reminding us that our human past is richer, more complex, and more connected than we ever knew.